All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to talk about CONCORD yet again and the open beta numbers that officially have been released and talked about regarding PlayStation. Now, we usually only get the Steam numbers, and we don't actually have the full PlayStation numbers, but I gotta tell you, from the numbers that we do have, it is showcasing exactly what we've been saying about the new DEI shooter CONCORD, and that it is going to be a massive flop of epic proportions and the first ever and last ever video game from Firewalk Studios.
Don't let the door hit you on the way out, 'cause I don't want ass prints on my new door.
Now, if you guys missed my last video where we were talking about some of the employees at Firewalk Studios, you probably didn't see it because this channel is currently getting massively shadow banned due to me covering the Ava Chris Tyson situation over at Mr. Beast. Yeah, YouTube's not exactly happy. They gave me a good old warning and spanked me down quite a bit, where I've lost about 200,000 views a day. But that's besides the point. I'm still going to be doing what I do, and I'm going to talk about everything that I want to talk about, including CONCORD. So apparently, CONCORD's open beta actually did worse than its closed beta, which is amazing because they were trying to say that, oh, things would get so much better with the open beta because they're giving it to everybody, right? Like the closed beta was only available to people who pre-ordered the game or who got a key from someone who pre-ordered the game, whereas with the open beta, it is available to everybody, and thus it's going to be a massive success. Yeah, that's not exactly how this worked. So let's get into this article, guys, from That Park Place. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. A new report claims that Firewalk Studios' CONCORD Open Beta had 8% less players than its early access beta on PlayStation. Kes Eiler Stevenson at True Trophies reports that the open beta, which ran from July 18th to the 21st, had 8% less players than the much more restricted early access beta that ran from July 12th to the 14th. Firewalk Studios initially limited the early access beta to those that pre-ordered the game. However, it opened up to the PlayStation Plus subscribers. Nevertheless, the open beta was available to all players on PS5 and PC. Stevenson writes, using a gameplay data sample from over 3.1 million active PSN accounts, courtesy of our partnership with Game Insights, we can see that CONCORD has 8.1% fewer players in the second open beta than in the early access beta. He added, in our PlayStation chart, that ranks the top 40 most popular games every week. CONCORD ranked in the number 29 position for both weeks, ladies and gentlemen. So yes, this brand new DEI team shooter, this game that is meant to be the most stunning and brave example of what happens when you get a whole lot of activists all working on one particular game together to make said game. This is what happens, right? You make a DEI team shooter and people tell you that's not what they want. You call them bigots, you call them phobes, and whatever else under the sun, and then you get mad when you end up eventually having to close down the studio because you flopped drastically. This is going to be the same exact situation happening over and over so long as they keep doing this nonsense, right? And they're going to keep doing this nonsense because at the end of the day, they're funded no matter what, right? These CEOs, these executives, they're funded through DEI money. There is no doubt about it. We have seen so many examples of funding coming from BlackRock, Vanguard, and every other company under the sun that invests in ESG-oriented funds. They focus on things like this because it's important to them. It absolutely is. And not only that, the CEOs get all their money up front. They don't have to wait to see if the game is successful in order for them to make all the money in the world from the game. They're going to make everything due to the funding. They're going to make everything regardless of whether or not it actually succeeds. And if the game succeeds, that's just extra, right? That's just extra on top of the amount of money that they're already going to have from taking the funding money. So it doesn't matter, right? None of this stuff matters. At the end of the day, man, Firewalk Studios is going to be the same exact, it's going to be like Volition, exactly like Volition, exactly like the studio that made Forspoken and closed down and got absorbed by Square Enix. They're all going to do the same exact thing. Now, this report comes in the wake of SteamDB data showing that the peak concurrent players for the game on Steam only hit 2,388 on July 18th, where the open beta went live. By the end of the open beta, the game was only hitting a peak concurrent of 1,117 players. I'm telling you right now, there is no way And I mean absolutely no way that a live service shooter like Concord is going to survive on just a couple of thousand players. It is sincerely impossible. I'm not just saying that to hate on the game. It is literally impossible. This game, even if it succeeds to the point where it can survive 1 or 2 seasons, it is going to die eventually very soon. It's only a matter of time. If that's your player base at your highest, what's going to happen when the honeymoon phase goes over? What's going to happen when people are over it after, 60, 90 days and you're going to be stuck with your few diehard players? What are you going to do? Milk the same 60 people who are going to be playing the game? They're going to be bored. And then eventually you're going to have to close the game down. I'm telling you right now, man, Firewalk Studios, I don't know how much money they invested in Concord. I haven't been able to find any numbers regarding to their budget. It seems like they're hiding it, of course. But I got to tell you, man, if they are going to invest this much money, it's supposed to be a AAA game. That's the idea behind it anyway. So if this is a AAA game and they invested AAA money, they're screwed. They are so screwed. Even with all the ESG funding in the world, they're going to be so in the negative that they're going to have to eventually close down or get absorbed. That's really what's going to happen. The game's early access also only hit a peak concurrent players of 1,124. That means the player base actually increased by 112%. However, sub 2,500 peak concurrent players is not good for a free open beta for a game that will cost $40 when it goes on sale a month from now on August 23rd. Now, I've been saying that right here. Where's that? This right here, the $40 is going to be the death note of this game. There is no doubt about it. Why are you charging $40 for what all your other competitors are charging $0 for? If everybody else is free to play and you're the only idiot charging $40, you better be so exceptional. You better be top tier fucking gaming heaven for you to even think that you can charge $40 in a market that is dominated by free to play shooters. There is just no way that you're going to be able to compete or be successful in that avenue unless, again, like I said, you have such an amazing game that word of mouth carries it through. Now, I don't know if that's what they're hoping for, because right now word of mouth is not looking very good for Concord, and I don't really think it's going to get much better, to be honest with you. But of course, time will let us know exactly who's right in the situation. So the fact that PlayStation users declined from the early access beta to the open beta indicates that this game is going to be a massive financial loser for Firewalk Studios and its parent company, PlayStation Studios. There is clearly little interest in the game, given people did not even choose to play it despite it being free. On top of that, those that have played the game have not been impressed with the game, likely driving interest in the game down even further. And again, they quote a bunch of YouTubers. They quote Dreamcast Guy. They also quote Angry Joe. Even Angry Joe, right? This is shill gamer Angry Joe, the same guy who just is so scared to talk about Ava Chris Tyson, but then couldn't wait to talk about Dr. Disrespect. Yeah, that's the same Angry Joe that will constantly try to remind you in every single video that he's progressive. That way, when he tells you his opinion, he doesn't get canceled. The same exact Angry Joe does not like DEI team shooter Concord. He says it's boring. He says the graphics look good, but overall, the game is just bland. It's like it belongs in the free-to-play shooter segment. This game needs to be free-to-play. You should not be charging $40 for this shit. That's just my opinion. And again, you could take that for whatever it's worth, but charging $40 when your competition is charging $0, yeah, good luck with that. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.